you want more?
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
All right, this is Mike. I am here today with Andy from Affection. How you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Not too bad. So you guys got a new album out, Remnants, which just came out last month. Let's go ahead and talk about the album. What do you want to tell me?
Yeah, so the album has been out like 1 month now. The reception has been very, very nice. We are actually quite surprised how many people has been sending the feedback and the reviews has been very nice. So that's beautiful.
Well, and Finland does have a pretty long tradition of metal. Because you've got, like, just off the top of my head, I mean, you've got Korpiklani, you've got Fintroll, Nightwish.
Yeah.
Up until a couple of years ago, Children of Bodom. So, I mean, you got some good company there as far as the metal scene over there is concerned. And it looks like you guys had some lineup changes right after you recorded.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So the recording process was pretty long thing for us with this album, and mainly because of that, our bass player had to kind of leave, or he wanted to do a bit different things, different music. So that was one thing, and another change was our drummer. So our original drummer Petteri had to leave the band because he wanted to focus on his day job, and he just didn't have time for all this. So
yeah, unfortunately, those things happen. How hard was it to replace them with the current state of the world right now?
Well, gladly these changes were happening just before all these crazy things started to happen in the world. So that was good thing. We actually found a new drummer quite quickly. That was great, and we are so happy that we have Reda now in our lineup. Things has been going smoothly with him, and a bit later we found Pano to play bass on our band. So that took actually some time. We were looking for a new bass player quite some time, and we tried to play with few different players, but that just didn't work out. But then we found Pano, and that has been like a great thing. So I think our lineup is now the circle is complete, and working well. So.
So musically, I know that the press release says modern metal. What bands are you guys drawing influence from? Because I do hear there's a lot of I heard some traditional metal. Seems like there's just a little tinge of some thrash in there. So I'm just kind of curious what bands you guys are being influenced by when you're writing.
That is one of the most difficult questions, or I don't have a short answer for that, but I can reveal something behind there, because all of us in the band, we've had this kind of bass foundation which has been always kind of the same. All these traditional bands, Megadeth, Metallica, Pantera, all that stuff has been always huge for us. Huge thing like Testament and Anthrax, all those bands. But at the same time, I think we have a bit different kind of influences for each of our members. So there is some hardcore punk, thrash metal, alternative metal, 90s, Seattle scene. So all these things has been melting together for a long time already in our band. So plus then there is some Swedish metal bands that we love. So it's a confusing mix-up, but I think that's one of the reasons we have pretty kind of unique way to deliver songs. So.
Okay, now I know that you said that the album has multiple themes, but the core is to hold on to yourself. So can you kind of expand on that a little bit?
Yeah. The thing is that when I wrote those songs during multiple years. There were some pretty rough times during those years as well. Some good times, some bad times, and there was much happening in our lineup as well. I just spoke. So basically, maybe the main message is that even if there is, like very much happening around you, the world is confusing. There is crazy stuff happening all the time. So it's in these days very hard, to stick around and keep your mental health together. So maybe like after all, when after everything bad is happening and stuff like that, it's still that the thing that you have is the purest core of yourself. So I think it's important to keep hold on yourself. It's very stressful from time to time to people that try to keep together when it's hectic and then everything is happening at the same time and you're being pulled apart to different directions. So maybe that's just the idea there that don't let it confuse you, and even if there is hard times, just breathe and then go forward. So
Now, I noticed on your Facebook page, of course, you guys are obviously doing a lot of promotion for this album. You guys had an EP several years ago. Are you guys planning on be reissuing that, or are some of the songs on this album?
Good question. We haven't actually thought about that. It's a fact that we made that EP basically in a very short period of time back in the day. So it wasn't, we didn't prepare too much or think about the production in there. So pretty rough. It sounds pretty rough. But we have we did put all the effort that we had back in the day to make the EP. So we still play those songs live. I think they work very well. But yeah, that's actually a good question, because maybe one day we could re-record some of those songs. Although I'm not a huge fan of remakes of the albums. I think that they are this statues of the past. So what you have done before, it's like a tattoo that you take. It's a picture of the time back in the day. So I don't think it should be rewritten or rewrote, re-tattooed or re-record the album. So we'll see.
I think on that end, I think it depends on the band, because I could say Destruction's re-recording of their early stuff. I like the re-recordings. The stuff that Sodom did, on the other hand, when they re-recorded their old stuff, I don't like it. It just did not sound good.
Yeah.
So I noticed too, looks like you guys had a show right before you guys got lockdowns imposed.
Yes.
So have you played recently, or has that been the most recent show?
I think we have played only one show after that.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. It's been the people, culture people in this country are at the moment very pissed for this whole situation, and I believe it's a global thing happening, and then obviously it hasn't been easy for anyone. Now it's looking a bit better. At the moment things are looking a bit better, so it's possible to play live shows maybe.
Oh, that's good.
In a few weeks or a few months, so that's a good thing. But yeah, we haven't been able to play much because the pandemic has been doing its thing. And it was actually, it's funny that you mentioned the show that we had just before things got very hard, because I remember when we were getting ready to the live show in the semi-final in Helsinki, and many people canceled the show or didn't want to come there because they were hearing about this new virus and stuff like that. we still had that show, and it was pretty good evening. But it was strange because all the other venues were closing down, and the city was very quiet back in the day. And then next day, everything was cancelled. Like all the places were closed. So that was like the last moment to be able to play this. So we were probably one of those last bands that had any shows for a long time. Yeah.
No, I know over in Europe, you guys have a ton of festivals. We don't really have much. I mean, we got a little bit, but not a lot here. You guys have any plans to try and get on any of those this summer? Since I know there's a lot of them coming up, although a lot of them, like I noticed, I think both Wacken and Hellfest have a very extensive lineup because they're trying to, accommodate for the past couple of years for people they had booked that couldn't play. So you guys want to try and get on any of those?
Yeah. The fact is that we were a bit late with our album release. We had plans to release it a bit earlier, but regarding the live shows, we've been trying to get some, like bigger live shows, but as you said, there are so many bands that wants to go back on stage at the moment, so it's tricky. We are definitely having some shows, but we are still just, like planning that stuff. So it's probably going in the way that we are playing more shows during next fall.
Okay.
But the summer, not so much. Maybe some of those, and we are still planning, but it doesn't look so like too promising at the moment.
So if we're looking at fall and doing some touring, is your label going to try and get you outside of Europe, maybe over here?
Yep. Yeah. So that's the nice thing, that now since the album is out, we really want to expand, like our territory, so to speak. So yeah, we are talking about some live shows in multiple countries actually. So let's hope that some of those will be happening.
Yeah, well, and the one thing, especially with music today, and I've mentioned this in a couple of other interviews, is that I think the internet really has paved the way for a much broader audience, especially in the metal community. Whereas, like in the 80s and 90s, it was, you had to have a label, you had to have, to be able to get out there. Whereas now you've got the internet and you could get things out to anybody anywhere.
Exactly.
So has there been any fans from countries that kind of surprised you that popped up?
Oh, sorry. Can you ask again?
I said, has there been any fans that you've ran across from any countries that just kind of surprised you, that you're like, oh, I didn't think, there was anybody into metal over there?
Oh, yeah. Like the reaction has been like amazing for this album, and the singles that we released just before the album. So our songs has been played on multiple radio channels all over like the South America and various countries that we haven't heard about any reactions before on our, so it's been awesome. So
Oh, that's been good. So where I'll put all the links in the description, but for those who haven't heard you, where can they find you at?
Where they can find us?
Yeah, musically, where are we looking? I can find you on Facebook. You've got YouTube.
Yeah. So all those places like Facebook, YouTube, our music is on Bandcamp, for example. You can order our physical albums and merchandise also from Bandcamp. Mail those, and also like all of those main, streaming services. So you can find our music from there. So.
Yeah, I am. So the one thing I noticed, since you're mentioning buying off Bandcamp, because I saw the album on there, you have merch too, which I think is cool, because there's a lot of bands that come out, with their first or even second album, and there's the CD, but there's no shirts or anything. And I hear them, I'm like, yeah, I want something to be able to kind of show my, how I like the band. But no, you've got it going on, so that's good.
Cool. Yeah.
So I don't really have any other questions for you today. Those who haven't heard you, I'll put all the links in there. Anything else you want to add before we end this?
No, yeah, it was very nice to talk with you, and great, like that you took a look into our music, and let's hope that we will get more listeners from all over the place. So
Yeah, well, and if you guys make it over to this side, let me know. We'll meet up if you make it into Portland.
That would be great. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, well, it's been good talking with you.
Thank you very much, and have a nice day.
All right, thanks a lot.
Cool. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye bye.